Hey, what's up, Silver Stackers? Thanks so much for being here. This is Silver Slayer. Hope you all are having a wonderful and safe July 4th. Don't want to get your hand blown off lighting fireworks. You can't hold that precious silver anymore. It's not the only holiday today, though, folks. I turned 7. Wait, Silver Slayer, I thought you were 29. Well, I am, but my channel is 7 years old. It's my channel's birthday. I made my channel July 4th, 2015. So yeah, pretty cool. Now, what's going on with silver? The gold to silver ratio is now above 90, is 100 to 1 on the cards. If you want to get technical, it's 91.03 to 1, meaning that it takes 91 ounces of silver to equal 1 ounce of gold. So you could trade 91 ounces of your silver right now and get an ounce of gold. Now, this is alarming for many different reasons, but what does the gold to silver ratio actually mean? Now, when the ratio is going higher, this means that gold is outperforming silver. When the ratio is going lower, that means that silver is outperforming gold. So right now, silver is extremely undervalued compared to gold. Now, when you're an investor, you want to invest into something that's undervalued, not overvalued, right? So silver does make more sense to invest into. You don't want to invest into something that's already overvalued, right? But still, this means that silver it's losing in comparison to gold's strength. Now, this is the perfect tool to gauge what's the better investment in, or just to get a glimpse of the markets, especially if you are investing into both. But if you are going to try to trade the gold to silver ratio, be careful. Now, you can actually do this and make money. A lot of people earn free gold or free silver trading the gold to silver ratio. For instance, let's say the gold to silver ratio is 100 to 1. So you have 100 ounces of silver and you want to trade it for an ounce of gold, right? Let's say you do that. And then, maybe in a year's time, the ratio goes up to 110 to 1. So now you could trade that ounce of gold that you got back to 110 ounces of silver. So you started with 100 ounces of silver a year earlier, and now you have 110 ounces, an extra 10 ounces, and haven't spent a single penny out of your pocket, just simply trading the gold to silver ratio. Now, it's really hard to do this, especially with premiums nowadays. You have to do the most bottom of the barrel cheap bullion possible to really make anything out of this. Plus, you have to know the time frames. It's pretty hard to find the exact times to trade in between those, but people do it. Now, I'm going to go over an article that's talking about the possibility of 100 to 1 happening again, because if you don't remember, March 2020, silver was $11. Barely 2 years ago, silver was $11. So when you guys are complaining about $20 silver, stop. Stop. Silver was near half of that 2 years ago. But listen to this. We witnessed history in March of 2020. Something that we'll read about in the history books decades from now. In my opinion, I think this is true. The gold to silver ratio was 125 to 1. 125 to 1. Now, what's an average ratio? I think nowadays most people would deem a realistic natural ratio as 70 to 1. That's not natural to any extent, but if we're not living in La La Land, that's usually what people would say. Historically, the gold to silver ratio is around 8 to 1, and that's because that's the ratio it comes out of the ground, right? Thousands and thousands of years ago, in ancient biblical times, it was actually 2.5 to 1. 2.5 parts silver equals 1 part gold. That was their ratio. That was back then. They saw silver's true value. They thought silver was magic, literally magic, and that's because it can purify water. It responds with other elements like no other metal. You can drop silver in milk. It keeps the milk fresh longer. It has antimicrobial properties. I mean, silver is the best performing and most critical metal out there. We're talking about elements on the periodic table, guys. It's not like, we're talking about precious metals. It's not valuable just because it's shiny. But anyways, it was 2.5 to 1 back then. Then it was 8 to 1 for thousands of years because that's the ratio it comes out of the ground. Well, then we get a little farther along and it's 16 to 1. 16 to 1 all the way up until 1930. Then 1930, FDR got in office. He changed the gold to silver ratio from 16 to 1 to 75 to 1. 75 to 1. Single-handedly devalued silver overnight. And it hasn't really recovered. I think that was when silver, or the man-made manipulation of the gold to silver ratio, where silver just being devalued basically, or just, I guess, not relevant to any form of its actual value started, was in 1930. But anyways, yeah, so let's jump into this. Do you think the gold to silver ratio will jump back above 100 to 1? Let me know what you think. So gold and silver both have been tanking since the start of the week. And I want to mention something else as well. Gold and silver move almost identical, but silver, since it's a much smaller market, is a lot more volatile, meaning it hits higher highs and lower lows. If gold's going to drop 10%, silver's going to drop 15%. It also can work for the better. If gold's going to rise 10%, silver's going to rise 15%. I call it gold on steroids, a more exaggerated, more dramatic version of gold. That's also why people say it's riskier. They call it the devil's metal, because there's a lot of potential, but also you can lose a lot of money investing into silver, since it has such these, radical changes. So anyways, let's keep moving on, talking about these metals are both positively correlated. Silver is clearly leading the move by falling about 34% from last year's 2021 highs. Now, since the 29th of June in 2022, by the way, this article is written today. Every article I cover is always written the day or the day before. You're always going to get the newest, latest, freshest information here. Always, if you subscribe. So anyways, since June 29th, the day silver broke the levels of $20.05 on the international charts, or $20.50. We have been witnessing sharp selling in silver. Also on its way down, it is continuously trapping all the enthusiastic buyers from an intraday perspective. Now, I do still think it's very funny how people sell at the worst time possible. When the price is the lowest, people sell the most. When the price is the highest, people buy the most. That is literally the exact opposite of what you're supposed to do. But anyways, let's keep moving on. Also, this steep fall in silver prices have further steered the gold to silver ratio to trade out of its statistical resistance zone of 85 to 1. What do you think a natural gold to silver ratio should be nowadays? I think it should be, and most would probably argue 8 to 1, since that's the rate it comes out of the ground, but I argue lower. I think it should be around 4 to 1. And that is because that ounce of gold that gets dug up out of the ground is going to stay in circulation for a century. But those 8 ounces of silver that get dug up out of the ground will be thrown away within a couple decades. And that's because silver is an industrial metal. So most silver that gets dug up is used in laptops and stuff like that, and it's thrown away, never to be recycled, or recovered, or re-scrapped, reused. But gold, since it's a monetary metal, it's used for watches and jewelry and earrings. All that gold will be sold, pawned, to make more watches and jewelry. Especially since gold is so much more valuable, more expensive, people are more prone to scrap and sell their jewelry or pawn their grandma's jewelry or whatever. Even take gold out of cell phones. I used to do that myself. So nobody's going to spend time scrapping a $2.50 necklace or scrapping silver out of a laptop to get a couple pennies. See what I'm saying? So the gold to silver ratio, I think, should be like 4 to 1, especially since silver is an industrial metal. Generally, when the gold to silver ratio starts to trade out of its normal statistical zone, 45 to 85, bullion traders wait for the ratio to reach 100 and show some bearish reversal signs. Once the bearish reversal is confirmed on the gold to silver daily and monthly charts, the traders further put a chunk of their capital on silver. But since the Fed And all major central banks throughout the world are constantly hiking the interest rates. Multiple factors are affecting the gold to silver ratio. Therefore, one change in the macro can affect the bullion in certain unexpected ways. I think that's the most important sentence probably out of this entire article. A lot of people forget about the other variables, right? People just look at this or look at CPI or interest rates, but there's so many other things beyond stock market volatility, beyond speculation. You have supply and demand, you have the FOMC meetings, you have this and that. And a lot of people forget that there's strings are being pulled to affect and influence silver's price so many different degrees. Some strings have a greater pull than others, but overall, you can't always think that this is what's going to happen because every situation is different, right? So, anyways, silver, why, you ask? Well, since the gold to silver ratio measures the relative strength of gold and silver, traders consider silver to be comparatively undervalued than gold when the ratio trades above 100, and it's undervalued when it's way lower than that as well, too. So therefore, they further try to play out any bullish reversals in the bullions by buying silver, the theoretically undervalued metal as per the gold to silver ratio. And yes, it makes sense, right? If silver is undervalued and gold is overvalued, then why would you buy the overvalued thing? That doesn't make sense. Especially since it's overvalued, that means it's going to come back down, right? So, silver's technical chart and general overview. So from these charts and the technical point of view, silver clearly has a high chance of testing the levels of $18.50 if the 200 daily or monthly moving average, very strong support of $19.54 breaks down on a weekly closing basis. So if silver breaks below $19.54, we're looking at $18.50. I mean, that would be beautiful for me, at least as a true silver stacker, understanding silver's true value. I would definitely take that as an opportunity to get in, lower my dollar per ounce average, especially since a lot of us have been buying over the last year where spot price is $30, but premiums have been up to $45 for a simple bullion coin. Is definitely a way to take advantage of that. Don't sell it though. That's the worst thing. So since silver prices are already down about 35% from the February 2021 highs, bullion traders, buyers, should wait and track the movement of the gold to silver ratio, dollar index, and central bank rate hikes. Once silver's price or gold's price shows signs of reversal, the dollar index rally cools down, and the rate hikes slow down. Silver then is theoretically and historically expected to rise. And by the way, they're talking about once the gold to silver ratio when they're showing gold and silver's when they're talking about gold and silver's prices. So that does make sense though. When the gold to silver ratio starts to reverse, when it starts to go lower, and then maybe the dollar index rally cools down, silver is then expected to rise. That makes sense, right? I mean, there's many factors influencing the price of silver, like I just said, but the dollar index is definitely one of the strongest influences at the moment. I do think there's going to be a day and age where silver takes on a life of its own, regardless of what gold does. But yeah, so this goes into futures and trade silver futures and all that on the COMEX. I'm not going to get into this because we are cold-blooded silver stackers. If you can't hold it, you don't own it, so I'm not going to go into that. So yeah, do you guys invest into gold? I just did a silver unboxing yesterday, and I got a 5-gram Volcambi gold bar. Got a lot of other stuff. Beautiful unboxing, by the way. You should go check it out. And by the way, I put that in my silver unboxing playlist, and I counted all the unboxings I've done on my channel. I have 30 unboxing videos on my channel. 30 different ones. You could spend hours upon hours watching me unbox silver over the last several years. I think that was pretty cool. I didn't realize there was that many. I had no idea. But yeah, so hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you think this video was worthy of a subscription, then subscribe. I'm not going to ever ask you to subscribe in the beginning of the video because I haven't given you any content yet, and you don't know if you would want to subscribe. But now that I've given you content, shown you a little bit of what my channel has to offer, if you think it's willing of a subscription, then please do. I want to take a second to give a shout out to my channel sponsor, bullionmax.com. I'm honored to be working with one of the best bullion dealers online. Great prices, great deals, and by far the best packaging out of any company that I've ever seen. They even offer a silver starter kit, which is 5 ounces of silver at below employee pricing with extremely high premium coins for a great deal. It's only one per household, but a great way to lower your dollar per ounce average a bit and get a chance to grab some great coins. So shout out to Bullion Max, such a great company, always sending me silver to give away to my subscribers as well. bullionmax.com, and if you want the starter kit, go to bullionmax.com/silverslayer. And also make sure to go to ag47apparel.com if you want to express your love for precious metals with the clothes on your back. Thanks for tuning in. This was Silver Slayer. I'll see you guys soon. Peace.